Thank you. We got one more story before our next break. Alex Pollack is a big fan of yarling. Yes, yarling. A type of singing that sounds like swallowing words and spitting them back up with passion. Alex will demonstrate this when he tells his story, his first at 10 by 9. Please welcome Alex.
I was a 16-year-old virgin in 2001, and I was rocking out with my windows down. I know the breakdown, I sang, slapping the steering wheel. I accelerated to 39 miles per hour, 4 over the posted speed limit. Everything's gonna shake now someday. You could call my vocal styling ferocious. You could call my car a beige 1990 Mitsubishi Sigma that stalled at intersections. Tell me again, am I awake now, maybe? During freshman year of high school, one classmate had spread the gospel of a band called Incubus, and another had done the same with Hoobastank. But now everyone was going to be talking about how sophomore Alex Pollack, this guy, discovered a neo-grunge band from Louisville, Kentucky called Tantric. This was my hope, this was my time. Tantric was going to be the next big thing, and Breakdown was going to be my anthem of cool. It seemed like a good idea at the time. That song's pretty much about being pooped on, said the guitarist from Tantric in an interview. 10th grade had pooped on me. I was left behind when my friends started to smoke weed and steal stop signs. I had a natural tendency to follow the rules, whether my parents, teachers, or other authority figures were making them. Even local basketball hero Penny Hardaway's public service announcement to be smart, stay clean, and keep the dream had printed itself onto my brain. The kind of nights I liked with Dr. Pepper, Orville Redenbacher popcorn, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off on VHS were not the kind of nights my friends liked anymore. Brooding, I put my thoughts into an essay for English class. It was called Why We Rebel, the Lucky Teens of America. In that essay, I argued that, quote, the perilous potpourri of today's drugs inspires lethal rebellions unlike that of disco or tie-dye, end quote. What do you think of the perilous potpourri, Newsweek? I sent the essay to Newsweek. Newsweek did not publish my essay. I also wrote that, quote, kids will be kids and some of us will continue to straddle the tottering wire of fatal indecency. In other words, guys, you're not just smoking pot and having fun, you're actually walking a tottering wire of fatal indecency. In other words, guys, stop doing stupid stuff and hang out with me. In other words, guys, I know the breakdown. Chris was my best friend. I'd known him since 6th grade when he'd invited me to his house for a sleepover, and we watched an island-sized Marlon Brando star in The Island of Dr. Moreau. The sleepover was the first of many, complimented by us pausing and laughing at silly, weird horror movies, and talking about girls, and thank God we can talk about girls and say anything on our minds? Way. When we were 14 years old, we went out on a double date to see the teen romantic comedy Drive Me Crazy. Or at least I thought it was a double date. Afterwards, my crush rejected me with an email. But Chris told me we could eat tacos and play Flight Simulator on his PC. Adam was a newer friend, but ever since I'd met him, I'd respected his wit and intelligence. He was quiet but perceptive and often wore a half smirk. I was proud to make him laugh, because his laugh felt like something to earn. We whispered to each other in the back row of class and discovered that teasing teachers who probably couldn't hear us had the power to make us feel less alone. While I'd once bet a classmate that history would be kinder to the Cherry Poppin' Daddies than to Radiohead, Chris and Adam knew which bands were big, which bands were cool, and which bands were neither. After they heard Breakdown on the radio, Adam deemed the song okay, and Chris said he didn't know if he liked it. I defended the track with my best argument. It rocks, I said. I suggested they listen again, but they said no thanks. My counter, come on guys. On Friday, May 4th, 2001, the Beale Street Music Festival featured the likes of Dave Matthews, the North Mississippi All-Stars, and George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic. Adam and Chris were excited to see these bands, but I was excited to see my new favorite. In my head, guys, do you want to hit? It's good stuff. It'll get you buzzed. It's called Tantric. The lead singer pressed a beer against his microphone. Memphis, how does this sound? He asked, flicking open the can with a loud shh. Adam frowned. Just give them a chance, I pleaded. As Adam and Chris puffed on cigars they'd found in Chris's dad's apartment, Tantric thrashed through their set and Adam said, not bad. His admission was a victory. We were finally sharing a high, I thought, until Adam got sick from his cigar and almost vomited. And Chris demanded that I drive us to the casinos of Tunica, Mississippi, even though we weren't old enough to play the slots, even though it was almost midnight, even though I was only 3 months into my driver's license, even though I'd already been nervous enough navigating everyone from the suburbs to downtown Memphis. When I rocked out to Tantric, I felt like I could conquer the world with a perfectly pitched guttural growl. But Chris's request made me feel less like a conqueror and more like a kid up past his bedtime. Maybe I was being uptight. Maybe they were being immature. Or maybe we were growing apart. If they had to go to Tunica, Adam and Chris could find somebody else to take them to Tunica. Braving the festival crowds, I headed to my car, but something made me turn back. My friends didn't like Tantric, they had never liked Tantric, but they had come to see Tantric. They had come to the show even when it was clear the band would never be the next big thing and would never score as cool points in 10th grade. They came to the show for one reason, me. When Adam gave the concert a not bad review, I couldn't help thinking that what he was actually saying was, I don't like them, but I'm glad they make you happy, man. Under the stars, George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic were getting funky on the main stage. Where did he go, my friends asked me. I walked around, I said, but I came back. I explained that I didn't feel comfortable driving to Tunica, and Adam and Chris said they understood. In spite of our differences, we ended up understanding each other. We knew each other's limitations and insecurities, and we liked each other anyway. A couple years later, we all moved to different cities and began different lives. We graduated sharing stories of virginity. I eventually lost mine. Girlfriends, breakups, unreturned text messages, STD tests, parents' divorces, jobs we sought but didn't get, and futures we desired but couldn't yet see. There was always something just out of reach, like Tunica after midnight. And so we confide in each other about our fears and our bouts of loneliness in a deeper way than we did in high school. Tantric's breakdown seemed like a good idea at the time. It seemed like a way to connect to friends who I thought were running away from me. But now, 16 years later, we laugh about the music we used to listen to, brag about how much we've grown up, and worry about how much we haven't. My friends are still my friends. As a little neo-grunge band from Kentucky would put it, your everywhere thing is gonna shake now someday. Thanks.
Thank you, Alex. Before we take our next break, can we give a round of applause to Douglas, to Donnie, Cheryl, and Cherie for taking care of us tonight? Thank you, Douglas.